Have you ever wondered how apps and websites are created? Or how your favorite video game works? These digital marvels that have become integral parts of our daily lives are all the products of coding. So, what exactly is coding? It's a bit like learning a new language, but instead of communicating with people, we're communicating with computers. Coding is the process of using a programming language to get a computer to behave how you want it to. Every line of code is like an instruction, a step-by-step recipe that tells the computer exactly what it needs to do. But not all coding languages are the same. Just like how we have different languages to communicate with each other, there are different coding languages for different tasks. Some are used to build websites like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Others, like Python and Java, are used for a wide range of things, from web development to data analysis, and even creating video games. At the heart of coding are algorithms and logic. An algorithm is a list of rules to follow in order to solve a problem. It's like a cooking recipe with step-by-step instructions. Logic, on the other hand, is the reasoning applied to reach a solution. If you've ever followed a recipe or solved a puzzle, you've used an algorithm and logic, two fundamental concepts in coding. So, what can you do with coding? Well, the possibilities are virtually endless. You can build websites, create apps, develop video games, analyze data, and so much more. In fact, coding is behind most of the technology we use today. But don't be intimidated. Coding may seem complex, but it's all about problem solving and logical thinking. And the best part? Anyone can learn to code. It's not a secret skill reserved for a select few. With patience, perseverance, and a lot of practice, anyone can master the art of coding. So, with coding, we communicate with computers and tell them what to do. It's like learning a new language. Now that you know what coding is, you might be wondering, how do you code? Well, let's dive right in and demystify this fascinating world. Coding or programming is all about giving instructions to a computer. Just like we use words to communicate with each other, we use codes to communicate with computers. At the heart of coding are a few key concepts like variables, loops, and conditions. Let's start with variables. Think of variables as containers that store information. For instance, you could have a variable called age that stores your age, or a variable name that stores your name. It's that simple. Now, onto loops. Loops are one of the most powerful tools in a programmer's toolbox. A loop tells a computer to do something over and over again until a certain condition is met. Imagine you're playing a game and you want your character to keep running until it hits an obstacle. That's a loop in action. Next up, conditions. Conditions are like the decision makers in your code. They check if something is true or false and then decide what to do next. For example, if it's raining, take an umbrella. If not, leave it. That's a condition. Now, how do these concepts come to life in different programming languages? Well, languages like Python, Java, and C++ all use these basic concepts but express them in slightly different ways. Python is known for its simplicity and readability. Java, on the other hand, is a bit more complex but extremely powerful. And C++, it's known for its speed and efficiency. So in Python, a variable could be defined as age equals sign 20. A loop could look like for I in range 20, print I. And a condition could be if age 18, print you are an adult. And while the syntax might change in Java or C++, the underlying concepts remain the same. With these basic concepts, you are now ready to dive deeper into the world of coding. And remember, practice is key. Keep coding, keep learning, and you'll be amazed at what you can create. Coding is not just about understanding the language. It's about creating something useful like apps and websites. Now, let's dive a little deeper into how exactly coding brings these digital entities to life. Imagine you're about to build a house. You wouldn't start without a blueprint, would you? The same goes for coding. Before you start coding an app or a website, you need a plan. This plan or algorithm is a step-by-step guide to what your code needs to do. Once you have your blueprint, it's time to start building. In the world of coding, This means writing lines of code in a specific programming language. Think of these languages as the bricks and cement of your house. Each one has a different purpose and is used in different parts of the development process. For instance, if you're creating an app, you might use Java or Swift. These languages are great for building the functionality of apps. They allow you to create interactive elements like buttons, sliders, and forms. On the other hand, if you're building a website, you'll likely start with HTML. HTML is the foundation of all websites. It's used to create the basic structure of a page, like headers, paragraphs, and links. But HTML alone can't make a website look pretty or behave interactively. For that, you would need to add CSS for styling and JavaScript for dynamic interactions. Now, you might be thinking, that's a lot of languages to learn. But don't worry, you don't have to master all of them at once. In fact, many coders specialize in just one or two languages. And remember, every coder started where you are now, knowing little or nothing about coding. So what's stopping you? Start your coding journey today. Maybe start with HTML if you're interested in websites, or try out Swift or Java if apps are your thing. Remember, the most important thing is to keep practicing and learning. Coding gives you the power to create your very own apps and websites. It's like building a house, but instead of bricks and cement, you're using codes. We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? We've journeyed into the realm of coding, revealing its mysteries and unveiling its power. We've discovered that coding is a language, a tool, a means to create, communicate, and control in the digital world. We've learned the basics of how to code, how to write, debug, and optimize it. We've understood that coding is not just about typing commands, but about problem solving, about thinking logically and creatively. We've also explored how coding brings apps and websites to life, how it shapes the user experience, enabling us to chat with friends, shop online, or navigate through cities. But this is just the beginning. The world of coding is vast and ever evolving. So keep learning, keep coding. Let your curiosity guide you. With each line of code, you're not just building an app or a website, you're building a future. Remember, learning to code is like learning a new language. It might be challenging at first, but with practice, you'll be creating your own apps and websites in no time.